I made a summer bucket list a couple weeks ago, and one of the things on there is making a new wall collage, because the one I have right now I made in like 2022. I really like it, I'm proud of it, but it just doesn't really reflect my current style. I don't know. I'm just gonna move it to somewhere else in my room, and I'm gonna make a new collage that's kind of more my vibe recently. So I was just gonna show you how I make a collage. This one is slightly different than the last one. What I do is I find a bunch of pictures on Pinterest. Usually I just pull ones from whatever recent board I've been making, and I try to get pictures that are a similar color scheme. Like the last collage I did was all pink. The vibe this time I'm doing is very much like dark green, earthy tones. Some of the inspiration is like Twin Peaks, some films I've watched recently, and the X-Files, which is like obviously my favorite show. The problem I encountered this morning is that I went to print out all my pictures. I'll show you in a minute how I like collected them and like organized them. But I went to print out the pictures and I just cannot get the printer to work correctly. I changed the ink myself, and I don't know if I did something wrong or if it's just the printer, but everything's coming out like super faded. So I might have to go to like, I don't know, the library and print it out. When I make a collage, I don't just stick the pictures directly on my wall because I'm indecisive and I like to plan exactly where everything is going to be. So what I do is I put some kind of a big piece of paper. Like the last time I made a collage, I used like packing paper when you move. And I just took like 2 big sheets of that and cut it to fit in the space I was putting on my wall, and planned out where I was putting all the pictures on the paper, and then taped them all down, and then taped the giant piece of paper with the collage on my wall. So that way, if I move in the future, I can just take the whole thing down and not have to take down each individual picture. This time, I don't have any more of that packing paper, so I'm using these squares. I'm just gonna tape them together. This is actually signage from when I used to work at Target years ago. I had a coworker who was an art major, and she was taking some of these home, and I'm like, what are you doing with those? And she's like, it's just like good thick cardstock and I just draw on the back of them. I was like, that's a really good idea, and I have I think 8 of them right here. If you work retail, this might be an option for you, but definitely ask before you take them because I know some places reuse signage, so don't steal it. I think I'm gonna do like 4 of these, and I'm gonna tape them together with masking tape, and I think I'm gonna like do 4 down, and then I'm gonna cut some in half because this is about as wide as the space I have. If you don't have something like this, you could definitely just go to Walmart or a craft store and just buy a piece of poster board, and that way you can have it fit directly to the space on your wall, and you can lay out all the photos and see exactly where you want to put them, and you can always trim it down if it's not the right size. What I'm gonna do right now is just construct my big poster that I'm gonna put the collage on, and maybe go to the library later and print out my pictures. I may do that tomorrow if it gets too late. I got all the pictures that I wanted off of Pinterest, and pretty much all of these were from existing boards that I'd made. The vibe I was going for, again, was kind of like dark green, earthy, cool colors. The boards I took from were like, I think, cryptid core, whimsigoth, like, just kind of X-Files witchy vibes. And what I'm doing is I'm just using Canva, and I downloaded all the pictures on my iPad, and I'm just started like a blank document with multiple pages. I'm speeding it up, but yeah, I just kind of went through and thought about what size I wanted the different pictures to be in relation to each other. Like the Loveland Frogman one, I wanted really big, and then some of the more just like aesthetic photos, I just wanted smaller. So yeah, it's just playing around a lot to figure out what size you want everything to be. And I think I ended up doing like 11 pages of pictures, but I wanted to make sure everything was big enough where you could see it instead of being like teeny tiny. And actually, I probably could have gone a little smaller with some of these photos, but I didn't have as many pictures as I did last time I made a collage. So it all worked out in the end. Man, I literally had to walk into the library and pay $5 to print 11 pages of Scully and Mulder and whatnot. So I can only imagine what they thought of me. Right now I'm just gonna cut out all my pictures, and to kind of keep them organized, I'm just putting them in a little container. I wish I had a cute box, but this is real life, so I'm using a Tupperware. I've ever dreamt of, but you took my soul. Once I had everything cut out, I sat on my floor and laid out my poster and planned where I wanted everything to go. If you want, you can combine this with the step of taping everything down, but I am a control freak and I want to plan out specifically where everything is going to be before I tape anything down. So the point of this was just making sure that I had things that fit together nicely on the poster. So varying the sizes and the colors and the content of the photos. Like, I wouldn't have two photos of a person next to each other, or two really dark or really light photos next to each other. So just generally being a control freak. The process of taping everything down is what took me the longest because I kept like getting interrupted and having to go do different things. So it took me like probably across 3 days to tape everything down, like 3 different sessions. Um, but yeah, this is me and Shadow helping me tape everything down. And you can see there's like a little white space around one photo, and I went back in with a Sharpie and colored it in black so that way it didn't like kind of have just like a stark white edge and it blended more with the collage. But yeah, I'm just using regular clear tape and just rolling it back on itself so that I can tape it flat and have it not show. This would go way faster if you used double-sided tape. And you could also use a glue stick, but I find that sometimes the glue stick doesn't work as well because it'll like peel off or sometimes it'll like distort the image because the pictures I have are just on like printer paper. So the glue stick sometimes kind of distorts the images on the front. So I just use clear tape. Alright, so this is me taking down the previous collage, and as you can see, it was, well, I was struggling a little bit, but it was pretty easy to get down. The only problem was the poster that I had it on was like really thin paper, so I was like trying to keep from tearing it from the tape, but I was able to kind of gently work it off of the wall. That's the new collage. And as you can see with the masking tape I'm using to hang it up, there wasn't any damage to the paint. But yeah, and it really came out like the perfect size for this area on my wall. Those little Target ads just happened to be perfect. But I truly do love how this turned out. I put it up weeks ago. It still has not fallen down. It is stuck up there, and I love how it looks so much. It's really my vibe right now, and I just love it. I can't wait to film a video with it in the background. That's all I got, guys. Thank you so much for watching.